And here we are. We are live, and something's showing that shouldn't be showing yet. There we go. That's all good. It's all good. Nah, it's not a spoiler or anything. The trivia stuff that I had up that we'll be getting to later was just showing at the bottom. So how are you? We haven't been around in a couple of weeks now.
It has been a couple weeks, and it's been even longer since we've actually talked about Power Rangers.
Yeah.
You know, the last few weeks that we were doing retro, we were actually talking about the Ultraman series on Netflix, the 2019 series. And we are finally back to talking about Power Rangers. I'm pretty excited to get into it.
Yeah, before we started, I know you had a couple of things that you wanted to discuss, just with everything that's happening right now in the world. So whenever you are ready.
Yeah, it is one of those things. I felt like I needed to say something, especially being Asian, being a woman. I do want to address it just quickly. We never get political here on the show. Well, not too much, but it would be remiss if I didn't at least bring it up. As you guys know, over in Atlanta, 8 people were murdered. 6 of them were Asian. They were female. And the police just say that guy was having a bad day. And that is absolutely, it completely undermines what that situation actually is. It was very much a hate crime mixed with a lot of like misogyny, mixed with like white fragility, if I can say that. I don't know if that's too offensive for our show or too controversial, but let's just call it what it was, to be honest. You know, in the last year, I have statistics. I got them from various websites, but 60% or 68% of like the 3,800 anti-Asian, incidents have been women, which is a big issue, especially for someone like me who lives in America and is like concerned about going outside and not making it back home, So I don't know. This isn't just a mindless violence kind of thing. It's a direct attack on people of color. And the thing is, there's been a complete lack of media attention. This super high percentage of rise in like just hate crimes in general. It's just not Chinese people. It's Japanese people, Thai people, Filipino people. And I don't want to compare it. I've kind of held my tongue, to be honest, over the last year, just because it's in no way comparable to the experience that, Black people go through. And it's something that I didn't feel like I should speak up against, because it's just the range of, like hatred towards those people. It's not comparable, but I don't want it to be a comparison.
Oh no, you're freezing a little bit. I think that is... sorry, guys. I think my internet is being a little weird today. So hold on. I don't know if you guys can still see me, but we are waiting for Elle to return. I think she's back. Bear with us for just a moment here while she reconnects. We will be right back. One moment. All right, Ella's back. Sorry about that, guys.
Hey, but yeah, so I don't know where I left off. We did get cut out. I just wanted to say, like, this is a Power Rangers show, and it is based off of the Super Sentai, and just kind of wanted to wrap everything up by just saying, like, hey, if you're don't feed off of Asian culture if you're not going to value and commit to loving and protecting the people that bring it to you. This is a very anti-hate community. I hope you guys know that, and yeah, just want your support and your love. And if you see anyone out there that is, propagating this like hate propaganda against any Black or Indigenous or, people of color, please just speak up. It really helps. You're not racist. We're not racist. But it doesn't help if you don't prevent it either, I guess is what I wanted to say. But yeah, that's thanks for joining my TED Talk. I guess we can get into a brand new series of Power Rangers.
Yeah, and again, those links are in the chat now. You can find them there.
Oh yeah, totally forgot. Yeah, we do have some links.
Yeah, I put them in the chat. Elle, I'm sure you've got some stuff that you can post to your Instagram, maybe if people want to.
Yeah, I will definitely, or even Facebook. Mm-hmm. I haven't been very vocal on social media because I haven't been using it, but it's probably time for me to take a stand, right? I'm gonna try to get back into social media.
That's I use Twitter a lot more than I use anything else. But like I just went back to Facebook. I started scrolling through it again, and I'm like, I don't know why I came back. It's like the first thing that I posted on there was about someone like giving me a hit and run on my car. I'm like, this is just.
Oh shit! When did that happen?
Friday? Was it last Friday? Last Friday.
Oh gosh!
Like it's not.
And you just got that car.
Yeah, the car's a year old. It's not like the damage is bad. It's just one of those things where the dude was trying to pull into the parking space next to me,
and just hit you,
and hit the car,
and then he ran,
and then backed out and left. Yeah, I was in Ralph's. Like I didn't even know that it happened until I went out to my car, put all my groceries away, and then walked around to get in. I was like, that wasn't there when I went in.
Oh my goodness!
And I talked to the store manager. And the store manager was like, yeah, I heard it, and I saw the dude running away, but I wasn't able to get a picture of his license plate. Sorry. So I was like, great, thanks.
Dude, that sucks.
Like, yeah, and just like for me, it just like it was social media in general. It just seems like there's just like so much negativity out there that like on Facebook, I just had to move away from it for a while.
Yeah, I mean, social media is a great way to stay informed about friends, about news, about, current events and all of that. But also it can be a rabbit hole of doom scrolling and just terrible news all the time. And so I completely understand.
Yeah, and it's weird. And like, I don't want to derail from anything, but to me, it's super weird because there's also like this strange toxic element in fandom just in general, whether it's Power Rangers or Star Wars or Star Trek or DC versus Marvel, Xbox versus PlayStation. There's just like these people out there that want to cause controversy just for the sake of doing it. And I feel like that's driving a lot of these issues that we're having today is just that.
Yeah,
I don't know how to.
Opposing sides.
Yeah, I don't know how to deal with it.
That's a good point. It is like a lot of stuff now is extreme views seems to be the most click-worthy bait. It used to be those BuzzFeed articles, but I think BuzzFeed has really come out of that kind of controversial like top 10s list of like clickbait stuff, and it is hard as we get to more. I don't know, extreme views. I feel like having a moderate, logical, open-minded, viewpoint on everything in the world becomes like less and less prevalent. And that's kind of what we need, if I'm being completely honest.
And it's like, again, I don't want to go too far in this direction, but it feels like that, like also the extreme left and the extreme right, both of them are like, well, centrists are why we got into this problem in the first place. You can't be moderate. You have to pick a side. I'm like, no, that's the problem, is picking a side. So I don't know. It's like I feel like things are probably going to get worse before they get better, and that makes me sad.
It's been a rough year already, and even speaking of like moderate stuff, some things, racism, there's zero tolerance for that. I don't care like what you say or what you do. Like there's a lot of things where you need to take a hard stand on, and I feel like it's hard. It's hard not to fall into hating the other side and to still have that compassion and understanding and having an open mind to be able to change your views, things get outdated and it's pretty ridiculous. But yeah, if you want more information, those websites that we posted up earlier will provide you a lot of information. If you want to donate, you don't have to. I'm just asking that if you see people saying really dumb shit, stand up to them.
Yeah,
it's really hard, in this day and age to be able to speak your mind, especially when everyone has their soapbox on social media. But for change to happen in society, we really do need to stand up and speak up and let's try to make the world a little bit better. We could be Power Rangers in our own rights, trying to, I don't know, defeat the evils of racism. I'm sorry, I'm trying to go with this cheesy analogy to tie it back into our Power Rangers series
hard segue. We have a couple of super chats. The Blur and MJ Spud, who is back. The Blur just gave us $2 or $1.99, I think is what it translated to. MJ Spud gave us €5, £5. I'm not sure what that symbol is. He says, "Miss you, L," and the rest. It's been a very very emotional 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been a very emotional year to date. Let's be real. We can use some fun. We are bringing back Power Rangers this week. It's been a couple months, right?
Yeah. We had what was it, 13 episodes of Ultraman. So that at 3 episodes a week, that was a month. And then I know we had taken off a week before that, and then we had last week off because my computer just decided to say, "Fuck you, I'm not doing anything."
Yeah.
So yeah,
you do run a lot of shows, Josh. Yeah. I'm pretty sure your computer is pretty tired.
It's been a long month and a half. Larry Newbill, another $5 super chat. Thank you, Larry. He says, "Love you guys and my friends who are going through this time. We have to take a stand against this and make a change." You are absolutely correct. It's been it's rough. Like again, it's one of those things where I'm Jewish-ish. And
you are.
I look white, so like I get a pass on a lot of things just because of my outward appearance. But there's a like what the Charleston stuff a few years ago. People walking the street saying Jews will not replace us. It's those kind of things where it's just like, why? Like I don't get it.
Man, I could dwell on this for so long. There's this amazing comic called Superman Smashes the Klan. I can recommend that. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but being passable in America is kind of like not really a hot topic, but something that is overlooked a lot. Mm-hmm. And what it means to actually be kind of a minority, or in Superman's case, an alien, and trying to fit in and understanding what it is to be passable and what kind of privilege that gives you. It's a great comic book. It's a beautifully drawn, beautifully written. But yeah, that is another comment. I feel like, man, we could do a whole show just on this stuff.
So we'll talk about this. Maybe I've been trying to figure out a way to relaunch the Twitch. I want to start doing like a lot of like IRL, like just like chat stuff that doesn't necessarily fit with the kind of things that we're doing here on YouTube. Twitch is more of that kind of audience. So maybe we could pop over there, because that again, like that is why I was able to relate with Superman when I was a kid, because Superman is a guy. He's an alien from another planet who has all these powers. Not that Jews have like magic powers or space lasers or whatever people are saying.
But some of that Nazi rhetoric back in the day did say you have magic powers,
right? But he looks like everyone else. Please don't take that out of context. he looks like everyone else.
Yeah.
But he does not feel like everyone else, and that's a lot of people can relate to that. But let's move hard left into the first three episodes of Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue. I am actually really excited to talk about these. I'm losing my train of thought. We got another super chat from the Blur. He says that he read that comic and he was a big fan.
It's amazing. But yeah, like Lightspeed Rescue, it's been a while since we've been in Power Rangers, and all through Ultraman, I was throwing Power Rangers a little bit of shade, saying like, I'm so happy for this break from Power Rangers. I love the story development. But like you, I'm actually really excited about these first 3 episodes and kind of into this new series of Power Rangers. I think that break is kind of what I needed, because I am hyped on Lightspeed Rescue, actually.
So I don't have you started watching Dino Fury, like the new series?
No, not yet.
So I turned it on. I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch this new show as it's airing, because I want to be able to compare what they're doing now with what we're watching in the past.
Nice.
So I'm kind of keeping up with that. I haven't seen today's yet, because I have to wait for it to be put up on the Nickelodeon app so I can watch it online.
Yeah.
But excuse me. This new season and the season that we just started, Lightspeed Rescue, the plots are completely different, but like they feel the same.
Interesting.
Like Power Rangers. Yeah, like I feel like now we're getting to the point in Power Rangers where they've kind of figured out their formula, and this is what they're doing going forward. I know that Operation Overdrive is a little bit different, so I'm wondering, like, once we get there, how it's going to change. But I did notice a lot of the issues that I've had with past Power Rangers seasons are here, but differently, and
Interesting.
It's I don't know how to explain it, because like my issues in the past have always been pacing, things happening too quickly, and this, like, the storyline not developing.
And dropping off in the middle of nowhere.
Right, and with these first 3 episodes, like I definitely get those pacing issues again, but I think they're doing a better job now of keeping the story tighter. So even though it feels like they're jumping around, like things are, while it feels like things are maybe happening too quickly, it still works. It doesn't necessarily take me out of it.
More interesting too, especially at the age range that this show is dedicated to. You can't spend a lengthy amount of time developing characters.
Right.
Like, it's made for kids. They want action. Yeah. You know, we already know the program by now that monsters get big, robots get big, they battle, you know, and it still maintains that. But I do like these characters. I'm really hopeful that they get more characterization throughout the series. I'm especially interested in Joel. Because right now he definitely is the most annoying to me, which is unfortunate. I don't want to hate on our only token black guy in this, but I am hopeful. Blackwing and I were we were kind of all talking last week, and I'm kind of interested in his character arc the most because he does seem the most immature at this point starting off.
Yeah. Well, let's go through the characters. Let's see if I remember. Okay, so I don't remember what order I put these in, but we're starting with the Red Ranger, Carter Grayson.
Yes.
He
our
is
firefighter trainee guy.
So actually, before we get into him, let me ask you about that introduction scene. So we see at the very beginning of the first episode, we see these nomads who were like wandering through the desert. Which, this is another weird thing to me. Like, where is Mariner
Indiana
Bay?
Jones.
Yeah, like I thought Mariner Bay was like an Angel Grove type place in the United States, but now I'm realizing that the Power Rangers Earth is not like any other Earth that we're familiar with, because like these nomads that got into this tomb thing weren't, you know, they didn't speak English. They were traveling from somewhere. Definitely not from Mexico. Definitely not from Canada. So like they seemed like they were from like some Middle Eastern place. It was very bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, I just accepted it, like I do with a lot of things in Power Rangers. It was very Indiana Jones. It was very, you know, was it The Last Crusade? And you open up the tomb and all the spirits come out, and I don't know. I kind of dug it. Like, I thought it was a very interesting, very different feeling from especially the last 2 Power Rangers series that were very sci-fi. But space sci-fi as opposed to this kind of magical element.
Yeah, because this is more supernatural.
Yes, that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah. So we find out that these creatures had been entombed for 5,000 years. They had been defeated by a warlock, and now they're set free because these guys broke into the thing. What did you think about the introduction that we got for each of these characters? So we see Dana Mitchell, who is Captain Mitchell's daughter, basically going around and recruiting all these different all the different Rangers.
It's actually pretty interesting. I feel like this is one of the first times that there is a lot of thought process put into selecting who our Power Rangers are. Previously, it was Zordon of like teenagers with attitude, which is literally any teenager, it was just kind of at that time.
They were all random people, like none of them
passed on.
Right.
You know, Justin found out about Rocky's identity, so of course he became the next Blue Ranger. What? You were 7. That sounds extremely dangerous. But you know, so I do like that these Rangers were meticulously sought out based off of their skills, their personality, you know, I guess, their drive.
Yeah.
We don't know what the criteria is, but it is interesting to know that they are actually being selected for this special Power Ranger ability.
And that's one of the things where, as a kid, excuse me, I would have been like, oh, like whatever. But as an adult watching it, I'm like, so Captain Mitchell had these dossiers in the safe, and they were sealed. How long had they been tracking them? And how often do they update these with new potential Rangers? Because they just so have to have these 5 for these specific five characters, but real again, bringing realism, which doesn't exist, into the Power Rangers world. You would think, okay, well, like every 4 or 5 years, they might have to change these out, because this is all a contingency plan in case this happens.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting, and it makes it more interesting to find out why these particular people were selected. So it's at the end of the first episode, we kind of see everyone, but we have Carter, like you mentioned, who is the firefighter. We have Joel, who is a cowboy pilot. I don't know what his career would be. Pilot? Is it just pilot? But he is specifically a cowboy pilot.
Yeah. Well, let's go through the characters. So first we've got Carter Grayson, the Red Ranger. Okay. He was one of Mariner Bay's best firefighters. His daredevil maneuvers risked his life, but saved those in danger. Carter is brave, headstrong, and quick thinking. Carter was first to accept his role and took up the position of team leader as the Red Lightspeed Ranger, and courageously led the Rangers against Diabolico's forces. As the Red Ranger, Carter is a strong leader. However, he is strict and by the book.
Yeah,
did you get that out of his character in these first 3 episodes?
In the first one, I actually didn't. It seemed more like he was kind of in a training academy kind of thing at the beginning, because he brings out the people and they're like, oh, they're fine. Let's take you away in the car. Versus if that was a real emergency, I'm pretty sure they would let him finish his job. But his seems the most geared towards a leadership position, with one caveat that I'll probably get into once we get to Dana. I don't know. Do we have a special order that we're going through these Rangers?
Not really. I can jump around in the order here. But with him, his introduction was one with in regards to Dana. We can move on to her next. So he's rescuing this girl, little girl, from a burning building. He sees one of the demons that started the fire in there. But then he comes out with the girl and he puts the girl down on the ground, and Dana just kind of comes over and is like, I'm an EMT, I can help. Puts the oxygen mask on her, and then is like, we need to get her in an ambulance, and then just takes off.
Leaves.
Yeah. I'm like,
I thought that's why I was under the impression that it was a training drill, because there was no urgency or suspense to that. Right. I just assumed it was a training exercise, to be honest.
She didn't do anything that someone else couldn't have done. Because I would assume that he would have put her down on the ground. The other EMTs were right there. So I felt like that was a setup for something that was going to reoccur later, with showing that Dana has some sort of medical training. But that, at least in this first episode, in these first 3 episodes, that never comes back around. So I'm curious to see where that comes from. And her Zord, or her train, whatever. It didn't seem like that was a medical type thing either. So I'm a little curious to see if that actually pops back up, or if that was just a one-off. We need a way for them to meet, and that's it.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess we'll get into it when we dive into the episodes, but Carter is pretty interesting. I already do really enjoy his character development, as opposed to someone like, I don't know, Leo from, the previous season, who is headstrong and wants to be a leader, but is incredibly reckless. Carter, we get to see, actually does have a good heart, but may not have that, experience in his life to read situations well, but he's definitely on his way, and he's willing to learn, and he's able to look back at past experiences and learn from them, which I really incredibly admire. So I like him as a leader. What were your thoughts about him?
Yeah, I like him too. There's I don't know how to talk about it without actually like getting into some of the episode stuff. So let's just like talk about these episodes, and we'll like as we pull up the characters, I'll move to them.
Yeah, let's just do we'll just talk about each character. We have some very focused character episodes in this first one, so we can actually speak more intelligently on others as opposed to some. But
yes,
let's just do it that way. We'll change the format this week.
Yeah, let me move back to him really quick here. So we see him. Going in these first 3 episodes, he is kind of learning how to be the leader of the Power Rangers team. In the second episode, they go through this training exercise and foreshadowing what was going to happen later in the episode. Yes. He runs through the course. He takes out the bad guys, and then Captain Mitchell comes out and is like, "Listen, you had the best time, but you've got the lowest score. The right choice is not always the obvious one."
Yes, and it's true.
Yeah, it's absolutely true.
Did that remind you at all of Men in Black when Will Smith goes through it? He shoots but he shoots a little girl, and he's just like, "Dude, that is not normal. She should not be in that dark alley," or whatever it was. It's been so many years since I've seen that movie, but it really did remind me of that.
This little girl is 7 years old. She's walking through a dark alley all by herself. And look at these books that she's carrying. Quantum physics, string theory. Those are way too advanced for her. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was one of those moments, and it really called me back to Men in Black. So I thought it was really funny, and it really is true, though, because it comes into play later on when he was like, "Hey, you need to put out the fire, man." He was like, "What?"
Yeah,
he has all this guilt and
see, this is like the time. Like, pacing is the wrong word to use with this. Really quick, we actually have 2 new super chats here. One from the Blur, who says, "It was a nice turn to see not only government-funded rangers, but adults working and their identities were not secret as well." That's something that I wanted to address too, and we'll get to that when we get kind of towards the end of this episode here. And the Blur with the $2 super chat, this season will definitely have character focused episodes. That's good. Because that's kind of stuff that I like is the more of the character building.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just, I don't know. I lost my train of thought there. With the demon that they're fighting at the end, with Mitchell, where he was like, the thing's happening too quickly. So he disappeared from where he put out that fire to the hospital where the kid was lying there, to confronting Captain Mitchell, and then back out to the location where the fire was. It just all happened like super fast, kind of like in the second episode where Joel goes to buy the flowers. Like all of a sudden he's outside in the middle of the city, and then he's back on the base again. It's just like there's
only 22 minutes, Josh.
It's just I don't know. For me, it's just like the base. I feel like the base could have been more like a Terra Venture type thing, where it's like this underground, like it's underwater city where they have like shops and things. Maybe to make that a little bit more realistic, with them being able to get from one place to another quickly, because it seemed like all of that there was no passage of time between any of that.
I mean, it's enough though where you can construct where it's just like, okay, he feels guilty, like he followed orders, he feels guilty and resentful and angry for not being able to protect the boy, because he sees himself in that boy that we learn later on,
right? And
we get that. And as an audience, also looking through the eyes of Carter, we feel the same. We're like, why would you not save the child? You know, why would you do that? And then it's revealed. So we have that same revelation the same time he does. And we're like, oh, that is something you only understand through experience, through observation, through like awareness of your situation.
Right.
And we also feel kind of sheepish for being like, oh, we were also angry, but we were wrong, and it's like, sometimes you make mistakes, but you're going to try to minimize that as much as you can.
It was also like, it's again, this is me trying to bring realism into it, but had he, and I guess this is one of my overall kind of issues with Power Rangers. Things take a long time to happen but then they happen like super fast. So like he's standing there questioning the orders. If he had just put out the fire, he would have had enough time to put out the fire and save the kid.
Yeah, I mean, objectively, that is true.
So it's one like, and I mean this isn't just a Power Rangers complaint. Like, you know, I watched the Snyder Cut recently too, and that movie is just long, and there was no need for a lot. Like, there was a lot that could have been cut out of it to kind of save time. But that's where I think Power Rangers kind of fails a little bit, is it's trying to cut too much to save time, where we need just like that much more just to kind of fill in a couple of the gaps.
Yeah, I do feel you on that. But I feel like overall, especially like I like Carter. Like his focus episode really made me like him. It made me root for him, and then also kind of for myself to be like, hey, there's things that you don't know. You're gonna make mistakes, and Power Rangers do look, you know, like superheroes where they don't make mistakes.
Yeah.
But I like that humanizing our heroes in this series.
Okay, so speaking of heroes, we find out that he's a firefighter because when he was a kid, he was trapped in a fire, and a firefighter came and saved him, and he was like, I want to be like this guy when I grow up.
Yes.
We see another thing that I don't understand is the firefighter's just standing after he saves him. The firefighter's just standing in the room, and then he starts taking his hat, his helmet off, and his mask off, and we don't see who he is. So first I was like, well, why is this dude just like standing there instead of trying to get out? But
yeah,
who is he? Like, we know
do you
he's
think there's significance to it? I didn't even attribute any significance, because Power Rangers to me seems to always hint at these things and never follow through. So I just thought he's the catalyst for Carter's desire to become a firefighter and to save and protect others.
My crackpot theory, which I don't want anyone in the chat, don't spoil me on this, because this is my theory, which might come true, might not come true. I think it's Captain Mitchell.
Oh, that would be an amazing turn of events, which is why he's so hard on Carter, but also incredibly empathetic concerning. It's like, I told you orders. Like, he could have just been, you know, an a-hole and just chewed him out, you know, but he didn't. He wants him to learn. And he really is like that, kind of like a father figure, like guiding him in the right direction.
Well, and I feel like that's also something that's unique to kind of the position that all the Rangers are in, because with the exception of Dana, none of them were military people. They just got drafted into this thing, and now they have to work in an environment that they're completely not used to working in, and that's let's see. Yeah, see, Matthew Thompson is like, he's indicating that he's someone.
Okay, that's actually pretty cool. I like that.
So let's actually move on to Joel, really.
Because that was our other focus episode, was on our friend Joel, who is a cowboy pilot.
The Sky Cowboy.
Sky Cowboy. Sky Cowboy.
So he's an interesting character to me too, because like he's feels like Carter, but in a completely different way. Like, they're two sides of the same coin. Like, Carter is like, from what we saw in these episodes, he's like, okay, I know what the right thing to do is, and you just told me to do something else, but I should have done things the way I wanted to do them. So he kind of has this thing where like he thinks that he's making the right choices, even though they might not necessarily be the right choices. Whereas Joel is now, he's I don't know what other previous Rangers I can kind of relate him to, but he thinks he knows better than everyone else.
Yeah. Very arrogant without a willingness to learn. He is a little bit of a womanizer, we see. So a little bit kind of like Zach, of like more into the dating game, more willing to put himself out there. He's incredibly confident, which I do think you need. But he comes off as extremely, extremely immature, which is why I'm curious why they recruited him specifically.
Well, I would assume that's for his piloting skills, but we don't know that there weren't, like, we have to assume that he's the best pilot that they could find. Like, the skills that he has as a pilot far outweigh any negatives that he might have with his personality.
I'm gonna be 100% real though. I feel like any crane game aficionado would be just as good. Like it seems like his Zord literally just flies over to pick up other Zords to stack on the Zord. Like they don't get to magically come together anymore. He is the one that's like the claw picks this up, puts that in the right position.
That's going back to my thing about like things taking too long. That's one of the weird things that I find about Power Rangers is the villains don't seem to attack during this time when they could easily just like destroy everything because the Power Rangers are busy doing their morph sequence or building the Zord. Like because we saw as Joel is putting the pieces of the Zord together, the demon is like over there. He sees it happening, so instead of like hitting them, he destroys a building. It's like why didn't you just attack those guys?
It would just end the episode too early and everyone would die. Some things you just have to because plot. The story needs to happen.
It's like in the Karate Kid when Daniel is doing the crane and he's just standing there and instead of like taking him out while he's still standing there, Johnny's just like, "What are you doing?" He's just like staring at him. It's just like it's one of those things. Jezra says that his crane game is on point, so he could fully take over for Joel.
Yeah, you're the new Joel because I feel like we'll get into the Zords after we talk about I think each individual person, but I think Joel so far is like he wants to fly and do all this stuff, but in that episode he literally just picked up Blue, was like, "All right, go ahead and aim." Like you do when you go to the bathroom. I don't know why the water one is in like the pelvic region. Like that was an odd choice, but I mean it works.
I couldn't tell you. Yeah, I don't know. So I do like Joel. Elle froze there again. Oh, there she is, moving now, frozen. Now moving, now frozen. Hopefully she'll come back in a second. Oh, there she is. So I like Joel, and cool. I'm fully expecting to get one of those episodes where he screws something up, and then learns, oh, me being a cocky asshole might not be the right thing, and changes his ways.
Yeah, also being a little bit of a chauvinist. I'm kind of hoping that he will, get his comeuppance from, what's her name, the one that designed the Zords and the Morphers.
Angela Fairweather.
Yes, from Miss Angela. She already does put him in his place, and I do like that. I like that dynamic, so if they do get together, I feel like he has a lot to learn, and I think she can teach it to him.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that moment where he's like, no, I can do this myself. I can do this myself. I can do this myself. And Captain Mitchell is like, no, go help put the Zord together. Do your job. And she just grabs the mic and is like, just go do it.
Yeah.
It's like
because like she designed this. I kind of feel like she might be a better ranger than Joel at this point, but she wasn't the one assigning these people, so she has to, make do with what she has. But it does create a very interesting dynamic, especially since the rest of the team kind of know that he's being a little bit of an a-hole.
Right. Well, and at the end of that episode, like we saw that they were all kind of following him. And like they were like, oh, we know what he's doing, because then after he just completely shat the bed with her when she's like, no, this is all mine, and they're all just like standing there laughing at him.
Yeah.
So they know, everyone knows.
Yeah, and I do like that because I feel like among friends too, like no matter how much you might try to guide your friends in the right direction, a lot of times they're not going to listen to you. So you just got to stand back and watch the dumpster fire happen. I do think it's funny. I'm glad that this group already has that kind of sense of they're able to joke around with each other and still love each other and, kind of root for them. I like that kind of dynamic where it's not too cheesy and too like, you can do anything if you put your mind to it. They kind of let him fail, like he has to learn. They realize that he's only going to learn through experience and they let it happen.
Yeah. Let's see. Who do we got? Let's see. Let's go to Kelsey.
Kelsey, I like her. It opened with a rock climbing scene. It's been over a year since I've been rock climbing, but immediately I was like, she's probably going to be my favorite.
What do you like about her? Like what stands out to you?
Honestly, it's just rock climbing. She hasn't had her feature episode yet. So I don't feel like we know a lot about her. I'm also kind of curious why she was recruited. Is it for her strong fingers and forearms, or does she have some other sort of intellect? Does she have some or other like what is her Zord too? I don't even know what that is. They're trains, and then they just randomly come together. The train thing is weird.
Yeah, the whole train.
I'm not okay with that.
Yeah, the whole train thing is weird. Like you guys in the chat, I know you guys know the Sentai version. So since the American version of Power Rangers is a completely different story and plot line, how do the trains play into it in the Sentai? I am kind of curious about that.
We're underwater, so the most effective means of transportation is a train on wheels where you can't go in any direction.
And that just digs into my thing with things taking so long, because like to get the trains out, they have to raise that platform out of the water.
And then they go out, and then the Zords come out of the trains.
Yeah, I don't...
It is the most convoluted...
I don't know.
I don't want to knock our designer, because I was just praising her, like she's super intelligent, super smart, and she stands up for herself. But honestly... That user design, man, we can cut out the train part and maybe just have the Zords come out of the submarine thing.
Yeah, or since it's underwater, like boats.
Yeah, I don't know, like a jet ski. Like we've had motorcycles on land and in space, but.
So Blur says that he thinks Kelsey's ride is a hazmat truck.
I don't know how that falls into rock climbing, but that's cool. That's cool.
I don't know.
Not everything has to make sense.
Yeah, so I mean, we know, because it's a rescue theme. So each of the different Zords are based off of some sort of rescue, like fire truck, paramedic, hazmat, all that kind of thing. I don't know what the right term for that is.
Yeah. Like those specific industries where you're
rescue services.
Rescuing people. Yeah. Is one like a Saint Bernard
with a bourbon?
I feel like that would be really funny. I would love to have that Zords just be in the bourbon barrel of I'm part of the dog rescue team.
Matthew Thompson says that GoGoFive, the Sentai, was also rescue based, which I would assume that it was just because of what they're using. He says that the train thing I'm going to assume that means didn't make sense to me there either, but he's only seen a few episodes.
That's fine.
The Blur says that it's a super train and it goes really fast, so faster than a bullet train. That was the thing that I found interesting too, because we don't really have bullet trains here in the States. Like high speed rail is not something that we have. So when they showed the Zord train going faster than the bullet train, I was like, no one in America is really going to understand why that's a thing.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, look at that sleek train next to that. But I'm still like...
Yeah, like people here would think that's like a monorail.
What if they had to go in the opposite direction, Like, what if the train tracks only went west, but the villain or whatever is east this time, and they still have to travel west on that train before their Zords pop out and then make a quick U-turn over the water to... I don't know. It was a weird thing. It's a weird Zord thing. It's not my favorite, but I'm still engaged in these characters. Do you know anything about Kelsey that made you like her, dislike her? I just feel like we don't have enough information yet.
Yeah, I like that she's really excited about everything. Like as soon as she saw that the base was underwater, she was like, "Oh man, this is so cool." So her sense of wonder about being a Power Ranger and what she's gotten herself into somehow is really interesting to me, but I don't know enough about her as a person yet to really say one way or the other whether I like her character or not.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I thought it was kind of interesting, too, because in Mighty Morphin, we knew that Trini was incredibly scared of heights, did not like going on heights. So now we have a Yellow Ranger who kind of seeks them out actively. So I thought it was kind of a fun thing, whether it's intentional or not. Kind of ties it back into past history.
Let's see. Who do we got next? Chad Lee known for his amazing aquatic skills. It looked like he worked at like a SeaWorld or Discovery Cove type place. Chad often spends time scuba diving, feeling connected to marine life. He is the strong and silent type. He brings to the team his exceptional martial arts ability and water rescue skills. I don't know anything about him as a character yet. We haven't gotten anything specifically about him.
Other than he works with dolphins. Yeah. Also, it's really weird to me in the fast cars. And in the intro, he is the first person slated with his credits. So I kind of had a feeling going into it. I was like, is he a Red Ranger? Because he's already wearing the red suit and stuff. And then we see the Red Ranger. So I was kind of confused in the original intro why they would showcase him first wearing red. That was a total mislead on their part.
And that's also that's one of the things I just find interesting about this, because obviously they're a search and rescue type team. So the jackets that they get make sense. Yeah. But at the same time, it was really weird when they go out for the first time and they're like, make sure to grab your jacket. Well, these jackets don't do anything. They're just jackets. So
they still have their suits to morph that actually offer protection and whatever it might be. But yeah, we don't know a lot about Chad. Right now I just kind of match him up to Captain Planet, and he's Heart because.
So Matthew Thompson says that the Blue Ranger actor Mike Chat has been the martial arts trainer for the Ranger cast for several seasons.
That's cool.
He's also a 7-time world martial arts champion. That's actually really dope.
Oh, I can't wait to see his action scenes coming up then, because especially if he's training the other Rangers, he has to have everything down packed. I'm sure he's saving the best moves for him, because he's actually able to do it.
Dana
is the one, to be honest, should be the Red Ranger. I get that we get our Sentai footage, so it's not an option for her to be the Red Ranger. Mm-hmm. But she's a daughter. She's the most informed. She's the one recruiting these people, knows the whole system, knows what she's getting into with, why is she not the Red Ranger? That was a missed opportunity, in my opinion.
Yeah, and, I didn't... Dana, the woman who plays her is Alison MacInnis. Who we know, we've met her at MorphCon numerous times. Joe and I have helped her and Steven Skyler shoot some stuff at one of their studios once. So I like, as a person too, I like her. I didn't recognize her at first. I didn't realize that this was the season that she was in. I know her having longer red hair and 15 years older than she was there. So I saw her there. I was like, she looks kind of familiar, but I don't know who that, but I don't remember ever meeting her at any of the Morphicons or anything. And then when I saw her name in the credits, I was like, oh, interesting. So that's kind of cool. Funny.
But yeah, I really think she should have been the leader of the team. Objectively, she is the most knowledgeable, the most well-informed, and probably with her dad kind of heading this team would probably know the most and has already learned the most from him. I also
feel like maybe that's a reason not to make her the leader, is since
nepotism.
Her dad, yeah. It would, while it might make sense, it also in I guess a military setting might not be approved.
I guess. I don't know. I just kind of thought it was a slight against the girls again. But again, they have to match it to the Sentai series, so not a whole lot we can do there. I completely understand. Yeah. But I'm really glad that we have a Pink Ranger that's hopefully going to be super strong and knowledgeable and smart and doesn't just like shopping and screaming Tommy's name. And, we've had some pretty good Pink Rangers, but I'm most hopeful for her, actually.
Captain Mitchell. What do we think of him?
I like him. I think he is going to be a better Zordon than Zordon and actually try to protect them and obviously help them learn the skills to become, better Lightspeed Rescue Rangers. I like him a lot, actually.
Yeah, I know in real life, I can't remember what his first name is. I know that I can't pronounce his last name. It's Rogge.
Yeah.
But we've met him at one of the Power Morphicons, and he's a goofy dude in real life. Like, he is a really, really goofy dude.
That's super funny because he's such the authority figure in this series.
yeah. So like, seeing him be serious, because I'd never seen this show before. When I met him, like, I just remember what I know of him from the couple of times that we've seen him at the cons, and I was like, oh, that's not at all what I thought his character was going to be like. So that's interesting. But yeah, I like him. He seems like he's kind of like a no nonsense type guy, but at the same time is empathetic to kind of what they're dealing with now, knowing that that they just kind of got thrust into this without really any training for what they were getting into, which is something else that I found really interesting, that in that first episode he just sends them out with like they didn't know
immediately.
Just immediately. They didn't know who any of the others. They had only had like 10 minutes to chat or whatever on the helicopter as they flew in. So like sending them out immediately without any kind of them being like, okay, you guys know that we have to work as a team on this, right? Like, it seemed very
like,
very
get to
dangerous.
know you. Let's do some icebreakers to know the people on your team that you're going to be fighting evil with.
Or at least like some sort of like a chain of command too, just because like sending them all out without being like, okay, this guy's going to be your leader, and this person's going to be in charge of this person's going to be in charge of this, and you all have to take orders from me while you're out there. Like, there was no like instructions. It was just like, here you go fight this thing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's Power Rangers, like you said, pacing, logic, story writing. It doesn't all make sense, but I think that is okay. I don't know. I like him. I mean,
that kind of goes back to my pacing thing. Like, obviously that had to happen because we only had 23 minutes for the episode. So there's not a whole lot of time for that. It's just one of those things where I think, the issue that we were talking about, Dana being the Red Ranger, and because we're using the Sentai footage, being kind of limited with that. That's one of the things I'm looking forward to with when Hasbro breaks from adapting the Sentai stuff, is that they will be completely free to be like, you know what? It doesn't matter whether the Sentai series had a female Red Ranger or not. That's what we want here, because that's who the character is going to be. So I'm kind of excited for that to happen. But yeah, I don't know. Let's talk about the monsters a little bit here. Oh, sorry, Angela Fairweather, or Miss Fairweather. Really quick, what do you think about her?
No, I like her. She stands up for herself. She's obviously incredibly intelligent. I'm super curious because Power Rangers up to this point has been some sort of mystical element, force, power within the universe, and she is actively creating these powers for this season. So I wonder how far removed we are from the other Power Ranger teams, what the history is, how is she able to harness this? Is it really Power Rangers, or is this just like the Iron Man version of superpowers?
Right, yeah. And Thomas makes a good point here in the chat. He says that the Lightspeed Power Rangers are the first team whose powers come from man-made or human-made technology instead of alien tech.
Okay, so it is completely human made. It is interesting. So I do kind of like that, but I wonder what experience, what Power Rangers has she experienced in her life for her to even know, like, we need to have a red and a blue and a green and a pink and a yellow, and 5 is the ideal number, and we're gonna make giant robots. Like, everyone gets an individual robot, and they're all gonna connect like Legos. Like, I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing. It doesn't necessarily fit our lore in Power Rangers. But
it's because I know there's a. I know. I should say. I don't think I should say I know. I think there is a crossover this season with Trakina. I think she shows up at some point. So we know that. So just based off of that, we kind of know that in this universe, the Power Rangers have existed.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I don't know. Like, maybe this is the first of this is the first attempt of by humans to be like, oh, here are, like, we know that aliens were able to create Power Rangers. Maybe we can do this ourselves. So that would be an interesting thing to see like from the science fiction side of it, like how that goes. Villains. Our main villain, who is actually not the main villain.
Yeah.
Diabolico. He was released with other demons when a group of adventurers opened the tomb, and the villains returned to their lair, where they plot to destroy Mariner Bay and rebuild the palace of Queen Banshira. However, Captain Mitchell creates the Lightspeed Rangers and heroes and foils Diabolico's plans.
So, are we confirmed this is all happening on Earth?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. So Mariner Bay, we have a new setting. It's not our usual Angel Grove. So I'm guessing they might have learned a lot from Rita Repulsa from Zed before he moved out into space villains in space. Because, no, even wasn't Divatox? Divatox was also on Earth.
Yeah.
She was in a lake for a good amount of time that they never located. So I guess they are in a bunch of different areas. I'm glad we're not in Angel Grove. I'm glad that Angel Grove gets a tiny little break from alien invasions. But yeah, it's kind of confusing. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I do think on one level,
I don't know a lot about him.
It would have been cool if Mariner Bay was on Miranoi.
Oh, that would have been fun. Well, Miranoi has also already experienced a lot of stuff, so probably best to have a different location.
Yeah.
But our big bad, I don't really know a lot about. He's not even our big bad. But I don't know a lot about him or what his real drive is. I don't know. I don't really connect to the villains in any of these 3 episodes so far.
Sorry, one second. I'm just gonna. Sorry, keep talking.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know a whole lot about our big bads. Josh seems to be on mute.
Sorry, I'm back.
Okay.
Chatting with Jamie, who is going to be joining me on the Star Trek show. He just came in to double check on something. Sorry, we have a super chat from the Blur. What if she met Billy?
Oh, interesting. We're talking about our Angela, right? If Angela had met Billy?
Yeah, I'm assuming, yeah.
Because that would be great. Their mental prowess when it comes to creating things, I feel like they would probably be able to create the ultimate Power Ranger team. Super intelligent, super smart, super crafty. That would actually be probably a really good match. But, Billy is off with his alien fish wife and super old and died. So... I mean, sorry, Billy.
Let's see. Next, we've got Vipra, who we really don't know. We don't know much about her yet either.
She's like the knockoff Scorpina.
Yeah, I like her costume,
to
though.
be honest.
Her costume
I
is
do.
pretty dope.
I like Scorpina's gold a lot better, just because I love gold. But yeah, I'm interested. She seems pretty cool. Still, don't know a lot about her.
Yeah. We're still kind of in that processing phase where we're trying to get to know everyone. I think. Yeah, that was it. We had the monsters of the week. I wasn't particularly impressed with any of them. Like they were fine, but none of them like I wasn't like, oh my god, this one is amazing. They were.
Yeah, it was very character based, which I prefer for these early episodes at least of Power Rangers. What did you think about the new foot soldiers? I don't know what they're called, but they're not as fun as I feel like some of our past ones.
I mean, they're fine. To me, they're all kind of the same. The putties, the cogs, the whatever it was in the last.
The cogs are so spectacular, though, and so shiny.
So far, I think my favorite though were I can't remember what they were called. But the pirate ones.
The Pronatron ones?
No.
Okay.
So when they were in the Lost Galaxy. The evil captain's like henchmen.
Oh yeah.
Like
those
the ones that look like the swabbies. The swabbies.
Yeah, swabbies. Those are so ridiculous with the masks.
Yeah.
The little like Oompa Loompa pirate things.
Because outside of their costumes, they all pretty much act the same.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, that kind of goes through our entire cast for these 3 episodes. Did you have any like major marks from any of them or comments about anything else?
Not really. I think we covered most of everything that I had to say about each of the characters. The episodes I know we kind of didn't like focus on like the actual like real plot lines of them that heavy.
Yeah.
But this was mostly our introduction to all these characters. So I feel like we covered what we needed to out of those.
Definitely.
I am excited to keep moving forward though, to see how, because I like from this first set of episodes, I get the feeling that it's going to get better from here. Like like it seems like once we really get to know these characters and we know who they are as people, and we actually see what the villains have planned and what they're up to. I think I'm going to get more and more into the storyline as it progresses.
Yeah, and I'm really curious about all of our other Power Rangers to see what kind of special capabilities, personality traits that they have. So hopefully next week at 1:00 or 1:15, we will bring you the next 3 episodes of Lightspeed Rescue.
Yeah, and next week, Corey should be back joining us as well. Blackwing will be here with
Hopefully.
us on and off on occasion as well. And Bryn, I don't know if you guys know Bryn Darby or not. He is now on his own Sentai show with Heirloom. And he has made some graphics that I will be starting to implement next week. They're really dope. I really appreciate him doing that too, because I'm not the best when it comes to that kind of stuff.
They look amazing.
They do. They look really good. I know Donnie is a Star Trek fan, but if any of the rest of you are Star Trek fans as well, or want to get into Star Trek, Jamie and I will be back on here in about 20 minutes or so with the Riker Maneuver. We are talking about Star Trek Enterprise episode 18 called Rogue Planet. And then tomorrow you can join the Illuminerdi Wrestling Order to discuss everything that's happened over the course of the past week in professional wrestling. And Thursday night at 11:40, we will be live doing a live watch-along of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier as episode 2 drops. It's really fun. I really enjoyed this first episode, and the second episode is looks like it's going to be really great as well. Do you have anything coming up that you're working on? I know we've got a couple of unboxings that I've been bugging Shay to finish so that we can get those up. We've got you guys can't really see it behind me here, but we've got a Spider-Man desk lamp and a Star Wars dark saber lamp and some more adult products. That sounded really weird.
21 and over.
Recreational products.
Recreational products. Adult products make it sound like naughty things.
Yeah. That's a different show.
Yeah. That's none of our shows currently, but we'll see where we go. If anything, I would like to nominate Battlestar Galactica for that one if we ever get into it.
You would be the one. So just really quick before we wrap out of here, what are your ratings for these 3 episodes?
I don't know. I'm super stoked on it. I actually liked all 3 of these episodes. I think it's a good introduction to our team. I'm actually going to start off with a solid 4 across all 3 of them.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a 4 as well. It was a solid introduction. I want to leave room for these to get better. So I don't want to give these a 5 yet, because I think I have seen better episodes in the past with Lost Galaxy, but I think we're going to get some really good episodes of season 2. And it looks like Elle has disappeared from the chat here. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap us out here. Hopefully my internet will be a little bit better when we start up the Star Trek show. Thank you all for joining us. I really appreciate it. Make sure to check us out on the web at theilluminerdi.com. And it looks like Elle is back as I'm wrapping us out here. Again,
I am back. That was some riveting information, Josh.
we're trying to figure out how to reboot our Twitch again. So, like I said, if you guys are interested in joining us just for like some like random chats, like we could possibly hop onto Twitch for a couple of hours one day just to talk about like the current events just in the world and in the world of geek pop culture stuff. But that will do it for us for this week. And I will see you guys in about 20 minutes. And Elle, I will see you later in the week.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We are back to Power Rangers, and we will see you next week at around 1:15, give or take.
Yeah, about that. Yeah. Okay. Plus or minus. Later, everyone.
All right, guys.